Hi, I'm Allison the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter, and this is the Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast.
Hello, and welcome to episode 146 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crochet podcast hosted by me, Allison, and my mom, Vivian. I'm coming at you from Scotland.
And I'm recording from Michigan. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're listening to us on a podcast app or watching us on YouTube. Hello.
Hi, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a month for me, and it's been a month and a half for you, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Like a little mini episode was the last time I was on here.
Oh, right? Really?
My back episode.
Oh yeah, because we only had one in November.
I've been away.
You have been away. Yeah. Okay.
Try to get back into the swing of things, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure we must have mentioned on the podcast, but it's been so long that I can't remember now. But yeah, off the back of going to Rhinebeck in New York, I flew back home to here, Edinburgh, stayed for the night, and then flew straight to Auckland, New Zealand, and then I was on holiday for 3 weeks. So
yep, you were.
I'm back, and like, I never was one of those people who like needed summer sun or like felt really sad because it was winter. I mean, like, you know, it does get very dark in Edinburgh very early, like especially now that it's overcast. But even on like non-overcast days, you know, the sun is starting to go down at like, you know, it's like 3 p.m. and I mean it's not dark, but you can tell that it's becoming evening.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it doesn't bother me, and like I don't know, I get enough sunny enough days in the summer that it keeps me going through the winter. But something about being in spring for 3 weeks and then suddenly coming home and it's like the clocks have changed. It's gotten so, you know, three weeks on to like the darkness. It took me a while to adjust to really accept that, like, oh yeah, it's winter, it's dark, it's cold.
It's like a shock to your system.
Yeah, kind
because it was like all of a sudden, instead of the like, if you were home for those 3 weeks, it would be gradual. But for you, it was like all of a sudden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Now I'm settled back at home, feeling Christmassy. Christmas trees up. Our semi-annual Christmas karaoke that doesn't actually feature Christmas music, but we do it as a group at Christmas.
Wait, is this work? Or was it?
No, this is it's normally like the people that I do pub quiz with.
Oh, so it's the pub. That's right. It's the pub quiz songs that they play during the year.
Yeah,
right?
And we've done that before. Where like because one of the people who does the quiz on a separate team, but she's a friend of mine. She keeps track of like all the different questions and answers that we've had in the past, and so she's got this like playlist, a Spotify playlist of all the songs that have been as part of the music rounds when she's there. So I think the last time we went to pub quiz, we just mostly pulled songs from that playlist.
So you didn't do that this time?
No, it was a grab bag.
Okay. Songs. Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Feeling cold and snowy?
Yeah. We had snow like over right around Thanksgiving. Didn't last very. I mean, it was just like maybe an inch, but everything looked pretty. It didn't stick on the roads because the roads were still warm. Sorry. But that melted really, really fast. Sorry, somebody was flushing the toilet upstairs. So that's why I stopped talking. But today, Madeline, because she works as like she works at the nature center a couple days a week. And she leads hikes, so she works outside a couple days a week. And so they canceled work because it was 13 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, which is, I don't know what it is, Celsius.
In Celsius? Well, I mean,
it's minus
32
something.
is 0, so 13F in C. I do that a lot. F and C, C and F. -10 degrees.
Yeah. So
Celsius.
plus, I think with the wind chill, it was -3 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really
I
cold.
remember when we lived in Ohio, like getting cold days rather
Yeah.
than snow days. Like,
Yeah, it was like
too cold
it was
for
too
kids to be
cold.
waiting for the bus and
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
Okay, enough about weather. Are we ready for our crafty content? And you don't
I
really
feel
have.
like I don't. I feel like you've probably been more busy than me. So I'm trying to decide like who should go first, but maybe I'll just go first, get mine out of the way. I brought a project with me on the flight to New Zealand because that was like it was basically 24 hours of traveling. The first flight was I feel like I'm going crazy, but it was like 17 hours, and then the second one was like 8 hours. Slightly different depending on which way we're going. So I brought my Whin shawl with me. And I also bought a second cake of yarn because I was approaching the end. Which is, as a reminder, that's the cover shawl of issue 5 of Moorit. And it's got the like post stitch. I never know what to call them.
They look like buds, like flower buds or leaf buds.
Yeah, like little flower buds or something organic-y, planty, like a little trellising up the triangular shawl. And I'm using this Brooklyn Tweed Tones Light, which is an American Columbia wool in undertone persimmon. So it's like a orangey, rusty color.
Is it? It's not the recommended yarn, is it?
It's not. There's a different recommended, also Brooklyn Tweed yarn. Basically, originally we thought we're going to do it with this color. And then the designer thought that maybe the darker color wouldn't show the
textures
as well.
Yeah,
the texture as well. So we went for something a little bit lighter. So it's more of like a goldenrod-y, mustardy, English mustard kind of color. And that one was Brooklyn Tweed Peary in Klimt, as in the artist, Gustav.
Nice.
And let's see, they're both fingering weight, 225 yards on one I'm using and 210 yards in Peary per 50 gram. So yeah, so very close. And they're both at the wool. So I'm this far.
Oh, you got quite a bit done since I last saw it.
Yeah, I did get even though so I brought it with me, and I worked on it a little bit on the flight there. Didn't touch it at all while we were there in New Zealand because we were busy doing things. And then when we weren't, we were exhausted from doing things. But it's kind of curling, so it's a little bit hard to show. But I think the stitches are showing fine.
Yeah, it looks great.
Color.
I don't even. It doesn't even look darker. It looks like unless you show it side by side, it looks like it's the same color. Yeah, it looks like it could be the same color almost.
I think in person that would be a lot more evident. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. I've messed up a few times and ripped back, especially with you have to pay attention, obviously, because the pattern changes quite a lot, and there is a chart. I managed to print it all out on one page, front and back, by doing 2 pages per page, and this thing is falling bits. And I highlighted in different colors, different situations. That ended up not really helping me. So yeah, there is a chart, but because as you increase, you're introducing new repeats. They're introduced in different places along the chart, so you do have to keep track of what row you're on. When to introduce a new one, and that for that row where you're introducing a new repeat, you have to read the written instructions because they're all slightly different. But I think it does make it look more organic once it's done, because there isn't a super a regular repeat or like how the new repeats are being introduced, if that makes sense. Like they're not always starting at the same place in the chart. And then I've done stuff like, oh, you can see here, because they're sort of like, it's sort of like each repeat looks like a, you know, a column of this floral thing growing, and kind of like squiggles in like a wave up, and then from that like different sprouts come out. So there's places, I think it'll be too hard to see, where I've accidentally started a sprout.
Oh.
But it wasn't supposed to. So I just left that one in because I was just like, I don't want to rip it all the way back just to get rid of one stitch that I, like one, it's a, you know, post stitch, so it sticks out. In the grand scheme, once it's all finished,
you won't even see it. Yeah.
I think there might be like one place where I forgot to make one of the little buds, which is like a cluster stitch. But I might have gone back to fix that rather than like, because they're in like repeats of 3. So I think that would be, oh no, nope, I didn't. There's one here where there should be 3 cluster stitches, and the middle one doesn't have one because I obviously just wasn't making enough tension and just did a regular post stitch. So again, like it doesn't stand out that much. And then I'm on row 63-ish out of 135. So I'm not quite halfway through, plus there's a border. So not too bad. So that's my one whip that I've actually been working on more consistently.
Excuse me. Well, it looks great. Thanks. So is that the only whip you have?
I have lots of whips, but this is the only one that I've actually like done anything significant on.
Okay, well, I have a lot of whips, so I don't know which ones I'm going to be talking about. But I finished number 15 of the Mitten Garland Mitten Advent Garland by Kathy
Garland Advent
Kathy Lewinski. I remember the designer. So I did 15, and I'm working on 16, which is just this, the cuff. That's all I did. And I was like,
can I see 15 or 16? Which one?
15 is done.
It counts up to 15.
Yeah, it's
that one's quite basic. Like it's just like stripes and dashes.
Yes, and blue and white, and then the number, and there's like a little line that's red, but it's mostly blue and white. So yeah, we should describe it to our audio listeners. I'm just so done with this, but I'm not done yet. So maybe next year for Christmas it'll be done.
Yeah, Christmas 2025.
And
I almost said 2026.
Just skip over 2025. And then number 16 right now is just red and gray. That's all you can see is red and gray. I've got the Latvian braid, and that's it, basically. So that's that. I started a new whip, and it is called the A.N.T hat. A new take. I don't know who is it by. It is, yes, Aimee DeBaun, AIMEE DEBAUN. So it's basically a very plain hat that's reversible. So you knit a hat, you do a provisional cast on, you knit a hat in and it's all stockinette in a fingering weight, and then you pick up the provisional cast on, and then you make another hat, and then you put one hat inside the other, but you can wear other. So the pattern sample is just two solid colors. All right.
And both sides was just stockinette?
Just stockinette, nothing. It's just mindless knitting. So, but I decided to use a self-striping yarn on one side and a hand-dyed on the other. So it's like pink, bubblegum pinks and there's a little bit of light blue and white stripe, and then the inside is like it's basically it's the same green that I made the frog hat with. And I've made a hat like this.
I remember.
It was called like the Cyclone or something because because it had a hole on top and you had to twist it before you sewed it together. So there was like a little whirl on top and then a hole for your ponytail. So I mean, it's kind of familiar. Like, oh, I've done something like this before. But it's very plain. It's just mindless. Instead of doing a sock in the car, I've been doing this.
I feel like you haven't picked like complementary colors. Like they just.
No, I just wanted it to clash.
Random.
Yes, I want it to clash.
But then I guess you get more use out of it because if they're like complementing colors, then like one hat might as well be the other. Whereas like this, it's like
I'm gonna wear pink hat today, or I'm gonna wear a green hat. And then so when you flip it over, because you can either wear it very slouchy, or you can wear it where you flip it over so you see a bit of the green and then yeah. So
then that would look potentially more odd.
Yeah, whatever. It's just this is like my purse socks right now, and the reason why I started this is because I started a purse sock when I was there in April. And it was the yarn that you gave me that was gifted to you, and it's just like West Yorkshire Spinners, some kind of sock yarn.
Yeah.
And it's been discontinued.
Yeah.
And it's not any color that I particularly like, so I was like, oh, just want to finish it. I want to finish it, and I've made the first sock, and I'm actually giving it back to you when I'm done. And I decided to do the princess sole. Here's the first sock that's done, right? And it needs to be blocked. So basically, the princess sole is you do reverse stockinette for the sole part, and then stockinette for the leg and the top of the foot. So that's the first sock. The second sock, on the other hand, I got to the toe decreases and I looked at it and I went, crap, I forgot to do the princess soles.
So you did like the whole foot.
I basically did the whole foot before I realized that I didn't do the princess. So that sock went to timeout, and I had to. I mean, even had so yeah. It's right now. It's just the heel. I did the heel flap and the gusset, and I'm still working on the gusset.
Oh, is this the?
This is the second sock.
Oh, you ripped it out. I see.
I ripped it out, and
I'll explain also further for any like just crocheters who don't know anything about knitting, because I only like found out about the concept of the princess sole like.
Well, I didn't even know that's what it was called. You asked me if I knew about it, and I was like, oh, I'd never heard of it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then Madeline, who was sitting next to me, said, you did that for me, where you did reverse stockinette for the whole foot, like top and bottom. Like, oh yeah, I guess I was ahead of the time or something.
So the idea being that the stockinette side of knitting, which is like the V's that you normally see on like knitwear and on socks, they're like it feels flatter than the
smoother.
The back side.
It feels smoother. Yeah.
Smoother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're stepping on it, it feels nicer to step on the front side of the stockinette than the back side.
Yeah. If you have sensitive feet.
Yeah. So with the ones that my mom's doing, it's just the sole that you're doing backwards. Reverse
stockinette. Yeah.
In reverse.
So it's basically I'm purling, because it's all in the round. I'm purling the bottom of the foot and knitting the top of the foot. So yeah, I got very mad at it, and I did. Time out. No more socks. So then I started that hat because I just wanted something different. Okay, that's that. Do I have? Oh, I have been working on my Tourist Shawl by Raina K. It is a brioche shawl that's a triangular, and it is done in lace weight. So I've done maybe a few rows since last month. But since you haven't seen it, I wanted to show you. Yeah, it is a little bit bigger than it was last month. But yeah, I don't know. What the hell was I thinking? Why? Lace weight, why? Why am I doing this? This is going to take forever.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. Like it's interesting because obviously with brioche, like it's normally so thick, but as you're holding it up, I can like
you can see through it. Yeah, it would be a nice like an airplane, like little blanket, little whatever. Just if you're a little, I don't know. So yeah, that's another one that's like, okay, this is gonna take a long time for me to finish. And my last whip is my yellow cardigan, and I have been working on it. Except it's just, there's like what, 400 stitches? I don't know how many stitches. 500 stitches. No, I'm exaggerating. It's like 350 or something, which is nothing to sneeze at. So here's the arm stitches. I just have to do 3 more inches of the arm steek up from up here. 3 more inches before I can start. I have to do the shoulder shaping, and then I guess sew the shoulders together, and then I have to cut the armholes, and then pick up stitches for the sleeves. Yeah, so my goal is to, at the very least, finish this by the time we finish our next archive cal. Not before we start the next archive cal. This will be my archive cal next year. What? We usually 2025. I started it this year.
Okay. So you want to finish it for the next archive cal.
There's no way I'm going to finish it before.
Normally what, like April, May or something like that?
We usually start April 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so March, April, and then end of May. March 1st to May 31st is usually when we start. If we do it. I don't know. Are we going to do it? I mean, we've done it for the last 3 years.
You love doing it.
Yeah, so that's my goal for the next archive cal. I do have a lot of FOs, a bunch of little small FOs, because I was just getting frustrated with my knitting. And then I realized, anyway, I'll tell you why, what I'm doing when we talk about our FOs.
Okay. Well, will we do the Buzzfeed quiz before that?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
We've gone a little bit festive.
Yeah.
Festive-y.
Hang on. You know what?
The quiz says, there's exactly one Christmas villain who matches your vibe. Who is it?
Of course, it erased it.
I'm laughing because of my result. Because it says exactly one Christmas villain, and what is my result? Harry and Marv.
Who the hell are Harry and Marv? Who's
they? They're from Home Alone.
Oh, I didn't know that's what their names. Completely forgot.
Yeah, so I'll read so it says, Harry and Marv, you just like the finer things in life. People around you always appreciate the gifts you pick out for them. You have great decorations. We just hope you didn't steal them like the robbers in Home Alone. Haha. You're a great planner and an even better host during the holidays. I'll take it.
Okay, I took a screenshot, but I didn't take the screenshot of all of it. I got the Grinch.
I'm not exactly sure what. Oh.
It says, you're a Grinch, bah humbug. Your holiday season might consist of traveling, intimate gatherings with your closest friends, and enjoying quiet nights by the fire. You enjoy others, but find peace in solitude. And then it says, read more. Because I didn't hit the read more when I took the quiz. Like, oh, shoot. So, yeah.
Well, if we go through the questions,
I can read more. But it wasn't a very big quiz.
No. So the first thing you decorate for Christmas, I'm assuming we both did Christmas tree.
Yes.
because you don't really decorate the front yard or the office.
No, but I did put lights
And the
up
tree's in the
outside.
living room.
Yeah.
The color you most associate with Christmas: red, green, black, white.
I said red.
Red, me too. I think they should have made gold one of the, like, instead of black.
Or gold or silver.
Yeah. Go to gift giving style.
I had a hard time with this one because I vacillated between thoughtful and handmade and funny and unique and practical and useful because not expensive and luxurious.
Not expensive and luxurious.
So I said,
yeah, you Grinch.
yeah. So yeah, I said thoughtful and homemade.
So did I.
Okay. So far we have everything the same.
Do we? Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are you bringing to Christmas dinner?
See, usually Christmas dinner is at our own house, so I'm not bringing anything. But then if we're going somewhere, it's usually family. But I said wine.
I also said wine. I was close to doing nothing but my appetite.
Yeah, me too. Because, you know, like,
if it's just at family,
yeah,
we generally wouldn't bring anything. Although, the thing that Sam and I do bring when we go down to Christmas to his family, our usual contribution is a panettone cake, the Italian place.
I know what that is.
That's our normal. Okay, ideal Christmas morning?
Make a huge breakfast.
Okay, I said
open presents right away. Yeah, and the other two options are morning jog, go back to sleep. That would be it, yeah.
Yeah. I thought about going for the huge breakfast. I feel like open presents right away is still just like
little kid mentality.
Vestigial, yeah, like memories of being a kid, because I don't normally have many presents to open.
No, because we usually don't open the presents until after breakfast. I'll make like pancakes or something for breakfast. And then we open presents. So that's why I say make a huge breakfast, because I'm the mom.
And then what are you wearing to Christmas dinner?
I didn't like any of the options, but so I said something you bought during Black Friday. What's wrong with that? Why is that grinchy?
I don't know. I said pajamas.
And I don't have.
I mean, I'm normally not wearing pajamas.
Sweater. No, by dinner time we've changed. Like we wear pajamas.
Yeah. Just for
breakfast,
regular clothes.
Yeah, it doesn't. There was something you bought during Black Friday seemed like regular clothes, and I know we both did the same thing for which Christmas tree is your vibe.
Colorful and chaotic.
Yes, because it's not simple and elegant or rustic and handmade. Though there are some rustic and handmade ornaments in the tree, frosted and golden. That's the fourth option. Well, also,
where would you bring? Oh, sorry. What?
No, it was just reminding me. We had knitting at my house last night, and so my friends were looking at all the ornaments, and I'm like showing them all the handmade, like the Santa head that you made out of Sculpey clay, and the paper fish that's from Madeline's preschool class, and all this stuff, and they're like, "That's the best ornaments." Like, I know, that's why I keep putting them up.
Where would you bring a new relationship during the holidays?
I haven't had a new relationship since, but definitely not my parents' house, middle of nowhere.
Or the middle of nowhere?
Yeah. No, a Christmas village is what I said.
Okay, I said the same. Yeah. And then what do you leave out for Santa?
Cookies and milk and onion, carrots, and crumbs. You ate the cookies. That's what I picked. Crumbs. I ate the cookies.
Crumbs, me too. What's onion?
I don't know.
Is that a thing, or is that just being silly?
I think it might be a thing.
Although
wait, what did we get that was different? Oh, just something you bought. What would you wear?
What would you wear? Ideal Christmas morning.
What were you wear to Christmas dinner? You said pajamas. I said something you bought during. I think. Oh no.
And then breakfast and
breakfast.
Presents.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's two different.
There's only two things that are different.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yes. I was confirming.
Two, not one.
Confirming, yeah. But that gave me the Grinch. But I am so not the Grinch.
Did it get you the Grinch again?
Yeah, I picked the same things.
So now read more. What does the rest
Okay,
say?
it says whole thing or just what I didn't.
What you didn't read.
It just says you enjoy others but find peace in solitude and relaxing away from the noise.
So there wasn't much after.
There wasn't much. It was just and relaxing away from the noise was the read more part. I'm not the Grinch.
No, you're not.
But I think I have become a little Grinchier as I've gotten older. I was like, oh, so much cooking and present buying. In fact, I'm supposed to go to the grocery store today and start buying stuff for Christmas for food. And but it is now 14 degrees outside.
Ooh.
With the sun out. So I don't feel like going out. It feels like -4. So I don't know if I'm going to go outside to buy the stuff. Okay. FOs. I have a bunch of FOs. So when I was tired of my whips, I realized that I hadn't done any of my charity hats, which I usually do. So I made 2. I made one, and neither of them, I didn't follow a pattern. So I made, except for, I guess, sort of this one. This is a red hat with snowflakes, white snowflakes, and a white pom-pom. And it is, the main snowflake pattern is from the doodle book that I got at Rhinebeck. It's really cute. Look at it.
Yeah.
I may make another one just to keep. But this was just Cascade 220 leftovers that I had from whatever old projects. And this is the same yarn. This is zigzags, the second one. It's gray and red and white chevrons and zigzags with a red and gray pom-pom because I ran out of the white. So that's that. This was my 2 charity hats that I made. And then my third hat is actually a remake. I remade the Baa-ble Hat for Madeline because the original one that I made, and this is the Baa-ble Hat by Donna Smith. It was a Shetland wool week hat in like 2015, 14, 16, something like that. I wasn't as good as doing the German twisted cast on back then. So I just did the regular long tail cast on. So this was kind of, this part, the cast on was kind of tight, but the ribbing was, and it just really, really bothered me. So I ended up, after a few years, I cut off the ribbing, did a tubular cast on, and grafted it on. Excuse me. Madeline does not like that tubular cast on. She likes to be able to fold the because I didn't make it that long. I just made it so that it was, you can't fold the brim
Usable.
over. So Madeline doesn't like it. So she asked me to remake this, and I still had the original yarn. I had plenty. So
I was gonna say that looks like exactly the same color.
It's the exact same yarn. So I took the original hat. The pom-pom's like all yucky, but I cut the pom-pom off, washed it, blocked it, shaved it because it had some pills on it, and then put a new pom-pom on it. So that's gonna be a charity hat.
The old one.
The old one, yeah. It looks really nice. I should have brought it down. But yeah, it looks really nice now.
A refresh.
Yeah. So I'll have 3 charity hats. But I don't think I have, like, I was just glancing at my FOs for the year. You know how in January I always count them. The last time I counted, I didn't have anywhere near 20. Because I usually have around 20-ish or over 20. But I don't even think maybe with these 3, it might be 20. I don't know.
Geez, 3 hats, just cranked them out.
And one last FO. I started making ankle warmers for Madeline, but then I made them a little longer so she can tuck her pants in them. So that was it. With no pattern on this either. It's just some cables because, I get bored. What if I'm just doing stockinette?
If you want to make more ankle warmers, I think my friend Lola was talking about how her calves get cold.
Okay, I can make her some ankle warmers.
But she's a lot skinnier than
that. Well, this it's just.
I guess they're really stretchy, yeah.
Yeah, this is alpaca too. I got this yarn a long time ago, thinking I was going to make a sweater, but then didn't have enough yarn, so I've been using it like bit by bit in hats and stuff. So it's like 50% wool, I don't know what kind, and 50% alpaca, and it's like a Cascade Lana Doro, something like that, hand dyed. So yeah, those are my 1, 2, 3, 4 FOs. So 4 little FOs. I should count them, see how much I have.
This is my FO. What I'm wearing today.
Yay! You finally finished
and
your
I finished
Lento.
It so long ago now, it doesn't actually feel like an FO. I had to check through the notes. I was like, did I already talk about this? But I think the last time I talked about it, I talked about it as a
whip. Yeah.
It was an FO when we went to Rhinebeck. But
but we didn't talk about our projects.
Anyway,
at Rhinebeck.
If I did, whatever, I'll talk about it again. So this is the Lento pullover, which is in one of the issues of Lane. Lane?
Mm-hmm.
Do you say Lane or?
I don't know. I kind of vacillate between Lane and what is it, Lina, because that's what people say. Lina.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to pronounce it?
But yeah, it's a really basic raglan sweater.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, it. Did I? No, I started this one.
Is the neck tubular?
Folded.
It's folded.
I don't know.
Wait, did you pick up for the neck after you were done, or was it done as the beginning?
It was done at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Yeah.
I like how the neck
did it. Yeah.
I like how the neck isn't too wide. A lot of pattern, like some of my sweaters, the neck is too wide.
Yeah, it's not like really tight, but it, but yeah, I don't really know. It's
supposed to be oversized and slightly cropped, correct?
A little bit oversized. Yeah. A little bit cropped on the short side.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just went as far as I think mm-hmm. For the length of the sleeves and the body, I just went as far as I wanted to go. Ended it. I tried to do a different cast off to make it stretchier, but the only one I know how to do is the sewn one, and I kept messing it up, and I was like, I got too frustrated, so I just did a regular cast off.
Oh,
it's a little bit annoying, but
okay.
Well,
next time if you knit another sweater, make sure you talk to me before you cast off, so I can tell you, or bind off, so I can tell you how.
I think at that point I was just like, it's almost done. Oh, yeah.
Because I did like a stretchy bind off for these guys, and it's pretty stretchy.
But then I think, that was the other thing. Like, it didn't come in enough when I did it. Like.
Oh yeah, this one is the Jenny's surprisingly stretchy, and it's kind of flared.
Yeah.
But there's another one that I've been doing that doesn't have that flare, but it's almost I don't know if it's as stretchy or almost as stretchy as this one, so it's good. And you're basically, instead of like pulling the old stitch over the new work stitch, you're knitting two together. until the end, something like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I mean it's I've worn it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I brought it with me to New Zealand actually, and I think it's wearing pretty well. Like there's maybe a few bits that look a little bit pilly, but yeah, happy.
That's nice.
But that's the only FO I have.
I might have to do one of those because is it fingering weight plus a mohair?
Yeah.
That's so popular right now, holding mohair with
It
something.
has been for the last few years now.
I know. The only thing I've ever done like that is the frog hat.
Although I don't have the pattern called specific for silk mohair, but I used
The alpaca.
The alpaca that I got in Oslo the first time I went to Nichols in Oslo.
It calls for. Oh yeah, no, it does call for a Kumo by Baa-ble, and it's 74% Surrey and 26% Bombyx, which is alpaca and silk. So yeah, it does call for alpaca silk rather than mohair silk. Yeah, but I know a lot of people have, are holding mohair plus silk. Does Lane Magazine, do they do the digital download? Or no?
They don't.
They don't.
They're
okay.
very...
That kind of sucks.
Well, not done with the FOs, actually. And we're talking about Lane.
You're wearing sweatpants.
Oh yeah, I just wearing sweats.
So am I. I'm wearing sweats at the bottom too.
I actually changed out of my jeans because I was like, I went out, did some shopping, came back home. I was like, yeah, no, I want sweats. If anybody is subscribed to Lane in the autumn this year, 2024, this bright blue one, you'll see a familiar face. It's so Jeanette Sloan, who I work on BIPOC and Fiber with together. She has like a regular
feature.
Column in feature in Lane, where she interviews the maker. I can't find. That's me.
There you are. Yeah, I went to my local yarn shop and just bought that. Just because you're in it.
I mean, so did I. I was like, I've got 2 copies of Lane.
You're famous.
I have one because the other one I have because it was when I was starting to think about the idea of more, so I just like bought some knitting magazines just to like have a browse through them and get a feel for what people were doing. And this one because I'm in it. Not as a designer, but yeah.
But as a publisher of a crochet magazine, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, have you noticed the little shiny spot on my head?
I wasn't gonna mention it.
It's one of those
pimple patches,
like zit stickers. Yeah, pimple patch. Get some like emo bangs going on.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but it might not even show up on the screen.
You know, I meant to mention it before, but forgot.
So, did you go to any yarn shops in New Zealand?
Aha! Yes, I did. So in Auckland, I went to the Lupine Wool Co. It's called, and that's in Parnell, which is like a nice, I guess, neighborhood of Auckland. Like not in the city center. There's like lots of cute shops and cafes on the high street, including the yarn store. They didn't have any copies of them, but they had ordered. They had been a stockist at some point, like some of the previous issues. And I didn't buy any yarn. Now I'm like, oh, maybe I should have just bought some yarn. But I get overwhelmed, and I was like, maybe I should have gotten some like merino possum or something. Because that's like, I feel like that's the
The New Zealand
the
thing.
like New Zealand specialty,
Yeah.
the merino possum. But I didn't get anything. But the yarn shop was super cute. And then when we were in Christchurch, I wasn't specifically seeking out. So with the lupine, I knew, you know, it was a shop in Auckland. But when we were in Christchurch, we were just walking. I think we were looking for somewhere to grab some sandwiches for lunch to take away with us. And I just saw it, and we went in, and that was also really cute. And I'm just looking up the name of it now because I forget what it was. It had a punny name.
Oh, we love puns.
Get flocked.
Oh, nice.
And that one was also, yeah, super cute. I definitely took a picture. I think it may have been at Lupine of like a project bag that I really liked. But again, I don't know why I find it so hard to justify like hobby purchases sometimes. I think when I just don't have a specific plan. But the Get Flocked place had a really like vibes, just like it in my head. It's pink. Maybe the branding was pink, but it's like very like kind of like bright and colorful like that. But they're both similar. You know the kind of indie yarn stores that we would go to with like hand-dyed yarns and stuff like that. So yeah, but I didn't buy anything. I just browsed and touched things. And for anybody who doesn't know, with the merino possum yarn, obviously like New Zealand and sheep in general, there's that aspect of the merino. But then with the possum, like my susu, my uncle, he was telling me about how like his partner had like bought a really expensive merino possum sweater, which at the time like susu like derided him for like buying such an expensive piece of clothing, but like now he's like, oh, it is actually like genuinely one of the warmest things that either of us have, and like it's still to this day. So you know they went to New Zealand a long time, I don't know, like over 10 years ago. You know it's still in really good condition. Except he said opossum, not possum.
And
they're
two different animals.
Yeah, and so he thought they were the same. But just some people say possum and some people say opossum, but they're different animals. And in fact, I think possums. The only possum I saw there was roadkill. But I feel like they're a little bit cuter, but they are invasive species.
Yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand.
I read about that program where the government is encouraging people to trap them and kill them. I guess
you walk around New Zealand, and it's like, especially if you're going into any like parks or gardens, it's just full of like not full of, but like you see all over the place traps on the ground. And that's for rats and possums mostly, I think. But basically New Zealand, and it was the same in Hawaii, there are no native land mammals. The only native mammals are bats.
Because they flew over.
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, they would have flown over. And like, so I was sort of confused. Like I was talking to Sam, and like he's like, oh, like with Hawaii, like obviously it makes sense because you know it's like New Zealand, Hawaii, whatever. They didn't necessarily I think break off of a continent. They
grew out of the ocean.
They grew out of the ocean from volcanic activity. So it's not like mammals would have already been there. But that's also the reason why New Zealand has so many flightless birds.
Because there weren't any
with the kiwis, because there were no predators. The flying thing kind of
stopped flying. They flew over and then they stopped flying.
Escape. Yeah. So
cool.
Possums and rats and stuff are a big threat to them.
Yeah, possums are brought over on purpose, though. And then, because I read an article where the government encourages people to trap them, and then they kill them, but then they can use the fur, so it's I don't know, it's to the advantage of.
I made a really, I was we went to see penguins,
Uh-huh.
little blue penguins, and it was really interesting. Like you go and like this family, they own a farm and they help to look after the penguins and stuff. So they've like all over the farm they've built these little like houses for the penguins who don't want it, because what they come onto land and they dig little burrows, but it can take them like a long time, like potentially several years to fully dig a burrow.
Oh, really?
So they just have these little like wooden houses that if that penguin couple happens to be lazy, they can just sleep in houses instead of building or fighting over burrows. And some of those little houses are like on the farm, like in amongst the sheep, and some of them are like further up the hill. So we got to see a couple of penguins and babies. They just like lifted the roof of the house really quickly for us to just have a look. And then we went and with big binoculars and stuff saw the penguins in the water as well.
That's so cool.
Which they were really difficult to see. Like with the naked eye at first. Our guide was just like, oh yeah, I see like a group over there, a group over there. Like the rest of us are looking at the water like, what are you talking about? There's nothing there. But yeah, and then she was saying, same with, being flightless birds and having their eggs and their burrows underground and stuff. Possums and cats and rats are, a threat to the little penguins. And, we saw plenty of traps. Nothing like in the traps, but one of the guides like set off one of the traps just to show us how they worked. And that was when we saw on our way home some possum. Actually, no, maybe we saw some possum roadkill. And then another day, not that long after that, we saw something crossing the road in the distance. And Sam was like, oh my God, what's that? And I said, I think it's just a cat and a kitten. And I was like, you know what, that penguin guy would have told you just to run over that cat. Like,
do they have
obviously that's not what I want to happen.
Do they have a stray cat problem in New Zealand then?
I don't know how big of a problem it is, but I think
I also read that they wanted to ban cats, outdoor cats.
Yeah, I mean maybe then I feel like it's the same thing. It's the same thing like here in the States, isn't it? Like outdoor cats kill a lot of small.
Yeah, but I feel like in the
animals.
UK, people think it's inhumane to keep them inside, whereas in the US,
more people think that. Yeah.
In the US, we just keep them inside because it's safer for them, and you don't have to worry about fleas.
Predators for them here.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You say that, but.
What?
Going on such a big tangent now. Emily got fleas once on her legs from her doormat. Sorry. Oh God.
Yeah.
That girl. She's also had lice from her students.
I was thinking the same. From her students.
Not even here to defend herself.
From her students, yeah.
She's not a dirty person. It just happens.
Well, because she works with children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fleas didn't come from children.
No, the fleas came from...
The fleas just came from outside.
Outside. A stray cat was spending time on her doormat. An outside doormat, and then she...
Oh, no.
Poor Emily.
Anyway. Right. Anything else except other highlights from New Zealand? I really liked the stargazing. We did that at Lake Tekapo.
That sounds amazing.
A dark sky reserve, yeah. And we got a really clear night for it, which was really good. And you go up to the observatory, which is like a working research observatory. So like you can't have any lights or anything. They gave us these little like lanyards with little red lights that we could use to like walk around and stuff.
Yeah.
And I figured out how to get a red tint on my phone so I could take pictures but not have like my screen too bright. But yeah, it was a really clear night. We saw some shooting stars. Cool. We saw the two smudges of dwarf dwarf galaxies.
Oh, so do they not have a telescope set up for you?
So yeah, she was telling us stuff about the stars and the planets that we could see with the naked eye, including the galaxies. I think that I found to be like the most exciting thing, because like, there weren't any clouds, it was perfectly clear, but there were these like two like kind of whitish patches. And when I first saw them, I was like, oh, maybe those are some clouds. And then eventually she got to it and she was like, those aren't clouds. And like at that point I realized they weren't clouds because they hadn't moved in like 5 hours they were talking to us. But that they were, distant galaxies, dwarf galaxies. And that if actually, because it was, because of how dark it is, if they were clouds, we wouldn't have seen them as white. We would have seen them as dark patches covering the stars.
Yeah.
And then they do a bit about like using the Southern Cross to navigate how to find south with that. And then after that, they took us to the telescope. So there were like 2 telescopes that were just on the ground that they set up to look at a couple things. And then there was the one that was in the dome that they used to show us some stuff as well. So we were able to look at all 3, and then they swapped what each telescope was looking at, and then you could go through them again. So we saw like 6 different things. We saw Jupiter and Saturn with the smaller telescopes, but still powerful enough that like with Saturn you could like, you sort of like Saturn appeared as like a dot and then like a line going, kind of going through it, so you could see like those are the rings. And then with Jupiter you could see a few bands of color on Jupiter. And then they showed us nebula and some like star clusters, one of which was in one of the dwarf galaxies. Yeah. Cool.
That's cool. Very cool. I mean, when we used to go camping in the Adirondacks with Girl Scouts, and the sky was so dark that I couldn't even tell, like, where the heck is the Big Dipper? Because there were so many stars. And to go somewhere that's even darker than that, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. I feel like it didn't see, like, I don't know. Like, I think about that memory, and I remember that just, like, being, like, so many stars. I feel like it didn't feel like that, though. Like, even though there were a lot of stars, it didn't seem like, oh, there's so many, I wouldn't be able to find something.
I think I have a more recent memory because I went with Madeline after you had, gone to college, and I remember
you were also an adult.
That's true. That it was just like, where's the big? I don't know where the Big Dipper is because it's so dark. We can see so many, and plus you're not really used to it. It's like it should be, and at that point we didn't have smartphones. I'm like, I don't even know which way is north at this point, because it's not, it's not in our own backyard or anywhere we're familiar with. Like, I don't know where we are, so it was really hard to tell. I think somebody might have pointed it out, and I'm like, I can't see it. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah. Okay.
Done?
Yeah, done. I don't have any shop talk just because it's pretty much, by the time this goes out, it'll be too late to buy anything for my shop for it to arrive by Christmas, but there are some Christmas bags in there. And thank you for the people that have been buying them. And I've already started making spring bags. And that's it. We're getting ready to host Christmas this year. All of my children will be here. You'll be here without Sam, and I'm just getting super. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You'll be here a few days after Christmas. But I'm getting super excited. I'm gonna go, buy the turkey and the ham and all the stuff.
It's so weird. Like, I've only ever been to that house once.
I know, that's weird.
We've
been here for it'll be 3 years. It is 3 years. It just, 3 years. That's because when you come to the US, you don't necessarily come here.
Yeah. Okay. Bye. Spiel time?
Spielwing.
Okay. You can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram, also kcacypodcast. rate and follow, subscribe, like, comment, review, favorite, thumbs up, whatever, on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can join our Ravelry group if you'd like. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the groups tab. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye.